Welcome to episode 119 of the Epilogue Lady podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband, my oldest son and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. There is also a group for this podcast on Ravelry where you can participate in my many make-alongs and the occasional giveaway. It's been a while since my last giveaway, but you never know. And there's also a Ko-fi page where you can support me and the podcast. And the money I get through Ko-fi is mostly used for prizes and shipping for prizes. So, that's the normal intro. When I got up this morning, it was actually snowing. That was no fun, but it's about to vanish already because it started to rain. And as you can tell, I have moved to my usual summer backdrop. That means I can put the sign up again. This is where I normally record in the summers, for you that weren't here last summer. This is the point in the living room where I get the most light without getting direct sunlight on me. Not that it's sunny today, but you get the idea. I can't record here in the winter because it's too dark. So that's that. Life stuff. Not as lot has happened. I have started working 2 days a week, only 4 hours on Tuesdays and 4 hours on Thursdays. It's working out. I enjoy it. It's my favorite local shop, so why shouldn't I enjoy it? Not selling yarn though, but a lot of other exciting stuff. So, as I said, that's working out. I was planning on walking there and back to get some exercise in, but after spending those 4 hours mostly standing and walking, I decided that my feet and legs wouldn't be too thrilled if I walked home afterwards. So I think I'm going to, me and hubby were talking about I could walk to work and and he could pick me up and drive me home, because I think it's Thursdays that he has the opportunity to give me a lift home if I want to. So maybe only Thursdays, walk to work and get a lift home. As I said, it was snowing this morning, so spring isn't exactly ready to spring here. We've had days where you could feel that spring was in the air. We had lovely temperatures and you could go outside without a jacket on and everything. But today it's sort of chilly, so I'm actually wearing knitwear today. Maybe I should start talking about knitting. If I can think of any more life stuff to talk about, I can do that at the end of the podcast. Let's start talking about knitting and spinning. Still no crochet. What I'm wearing the everyday tee. I don't have to stand up because the rest of the sweater is plain knitting. It's only this that's happening at the top. I really love this t-shirt, or it's supposed to be a t-shirt, but I knit it with 3/4 sleeves. The yarn is natural blue, 50%, no it's not 50%, but it's a merino bamboo blend that I used to stock in my shop. This is dyed by me. The colorway is Nebula, and the pattern is Everyday Tee by Twin Stitches Design. And this is the sweater I want to knit for the Tea Time Mal that's starting May 1st. As I said last time, feel free to cast on now. As long as you have more than 50% left on May 1st, that's okay. So you can feel free to cast on now, or at least start planning what you want to knit. When I was mentioning make-alongs, maybe I should mention that I also co-host the Shop the Stash make-along. with Alex from my Yarny Corner and Sue and Liz from Distant Stitches. That's only on Instagram. And I pulled the first winner already. That was a tangent. But as I said, this is the t-shirt I'm knitting for the tea time make along, and that I'm also, of course, making it short sleeve. And I've actually brought the yarn I'm planning on using for it. This is some Hue Loco that hubby gave me for Christmas. He bought me 5 skeins of Hue Loco. These 2 in hot pink, and the colorway is fuchsia, and 3 different variegated colorways. That basically are, yes, that's Snape, basically are too precious to use for socks, the variegated ones I mean. So I have to figure out what to use them for. One of them is sort of colorway that will flash. So maybe only usable for socks. That will sort of make sort of a stripe effect on a sock. If you're wondering how I can tell that something is going to flash, if you open the skein and you have different sections of the same color, that's typically going to flash. So it's in a bigger project, that is. If you, for example, I knit a boxy sweater with yarn from Hedgehog Fibers, I had to do a lot of fiddling to avoid flashing on that one. So that sort of scared me off using yarns like that for bigger projects. So one of the skeins I'm going to have to use for socks. So that's what I'm wearing. It's my Everyday Tee by Twin Stitches design. And another tangent. Maybe I should change the name to Tangent Lady. I'm all over the place today. Maybe because I'm recording this rather early, because I have stuff to do today. I'm not going anywhere, but I have stuff to do here, like cleaning the bathroom and stuff. Not my favorite thing, but sometimes I just have to do it. We'll look at my 2 whips. I only have 2 whips, and one of them you've seen before. I have an FO that I can't show you because they're on my son's feet. I finished a pair of socks for him. You've seen them almost done. The blue ones with the lime green ribbing. I think I have a picture of them that I can put here. But anyways, those are on my son's feet. But I knit socks all the time, so it's not a big deal that I can't show you that exact pair. So this is my stripes by Andrea Mowry. And I see this light is really good for showing colors. All of this is Jacob. This I bought undyed, and the colorway is Cinnamon Toast, and the gray is natural colored. And as you can see, there's sort of a brown hue to this color, and that matches really nicely with the Cinnamon Toast. You can, if you have knit the stripes, or if you're familiar with the stripes by Andrea Mowry, you probably are, because it's been trending. You're supposed to have the same width stripes, and you're supposed to have more than 2 colors. But because I only had the 2 colors, and I had twice the amount of the Cinnamon Toast, I'm doing it like this. So I have enough yarn for the entire sweater. This is what the Cinnamon Toast looks like in the ball, and this is what the undyed natural colored Jacob looks like in the ball. I have several. I have more. I'm actually thinking I might have leftovers after I finish this, and I was afraid of not having enough yarn. So I might have enough for a striped hat or something. We'll see. But anyway, that's one of my whips. And this might actually be put into hibernation soon, because I'm not going to be able to wear this until the fall anyway. So that might be put into hibernation, so I can knit more summery stuff. More socks, by the way, because of the Arctic summer of socks. I can't insist on you knitting socks if I'm not knitting socks myself. The other thing I'm working on is this pair of self-striping socks. I've knit the heel on one. I'm about to start the heel on the other. As you can tell, I'm knitting these 2 at a time. So that's my sock whip. I was about to start another. I ordered another. I only have one of these long circulars in 2.25 millimeters. That's a difficult size needle to get in Norway. So I finally found 2.25 in a Norwegian website, Hobby. That's an international website, so they're Norwegian, what you call them? Their Norwegian webpage. And I bought one. I was really thrilled, but it's too short. So I should have checked the length on that one before I ordered, but I don't think they had any longer. I'm going to check, and then I might have to do another purchase. The one, it's not a waste of money because it's big enough for one sock. But again, I normally don't knit socks magic loop, so maybe the next time I knit a stranded sock, I'll use that needle. Because stranded socks actually are, I enjoy knitting stranded socks on magic loop. I find that it's easier if you use magic loop for stranded colorway. I realized after I turned the camera off that I forgot about a whip. And it's quite the whip as well. It's actually a hoe. And it's a pair of socks. And it's these. I think I just have to put my hand in it so you can see the pattern properly. This is what happens when it's 2 weeks between episodes, because I forget about stuff that I haven't. This is the pattern. I got gifted this pattern by Sue, Crafty97. And then there's a pattern on the back as well. And this is the perfect sock pattern for me because the pattern is easy to memorize. And there's a pattern at the back of the leg as well. And it's just enough that's happening that I don't get bored. The yarn is from Nora George. It's called Snowdrop. And the pattern is Tittygaga socks. And it's by Nancy Wheeler. And I haven't started the second sock yet. I'm not sure when I think I have to start the second sock soon because my tension might change if I wait too long starting the second sock. Because my tension is sort of, it changes a bit. I think it has something to do with my tension or anxiety and stuff. Sometimes I knit more tight than other times. But anyway, this is also a whip. The Tittygaga socks by Nancy Wheeler. I should stop drinking coffee while I'm talking to you, but it's the coffee. Yes. It's Hubby's fault, by the way, because I heard him say to Snape last night, yes, we're talking to cats, that, remember, there's going to be a podcast recording here tomorrow, please make a noise. So it's Hubby's fault. He's got the Sumis. I think they are, the 2 older cats are sort of extra going crazy these days too. I think it's because of that spring is in the air basically, because they turn crazy every year this around April, early May. So I think it's the spring feeling. So I have FOs, but they're all spinning. The first one is something I'm not going to rush doing again. Because it's 100% bamboo. and I did not enjoy spinning this. But anyways, this is 100% bamboo. It's from Ulveig, and it's a birthday present for my really good friend Trine. We've been friends since we started first grade. I just have to... I can't stop recording because he's got the zoomies. For all I know, you might find it charming. I wish he would calm down though. I think he has a toy or something. That's disappeared behind the couch. He's trying to get it. Anyways, 100% bamboo from Ulveig. Trine is allergic to wool, and I wanted to give her some handspun for her birthday. And the reason why I can show this to you on screen, if she always watches my podcast, is that she's seen it. But as I said, I'm not going to rush doing bamboo again. If I'm doing bamboo again, it's for her, because I did not enjoy spinning it. It's slippery, it breaks easy, so new. But the color is really beautiful and it's really shiny and pretty. The other FO is a blend, but I've done the blend myself. I've shown you the fiber. It's 50% alpaca. You can tell by the fluff. It's fluffy and it's uneven, I know. As it said on the note with the fiber, it's reared in Kent and prepped in Sussex. Naturally colored alpaca, and the other single is 100% Corriedale from Stulen Strikk. And I have this much. I think I'm going to, if I have enough, but I'm pretty sure I have enough because there's quite a bit of yardage here. I'm thinking about doing a Musselburgh hat with this, because it's going to be a nice hat because of the alpaca. So, and I was 100% sure I was going to have leftovers of the alpaca because it spun really finely, and I really struggled to get the Corriedale as fine. So this is probably a light fingering, I guess. But I had leftovers of the Corriedale, and this is the color. And this color is really gorgeous. And I'm thinking I might go to Stulen Strikk's website to see if he has more of this colorway and make another skein this color. But again, it's pretty close to my cinnamon toast, so I might dye up some fiber and do this myself. But I think that I am going to measure this, of course, because I don't know the yardage yet, because I haven't soaked and measured this spin. But if I have enough, I'm going to use this as I'm planning on knitting a pair of socks with some autumn leaves. The autumn leaves, it's the I'm putting up a picture. It's by Stone Knits. It's a set of 2 patterns, and one of them has sort of maple leaves all over, and since I saw that pattern, I decided I need to knit those socks for my Canadian friend Sue. First I thought I'd knit them in white and red because of the flag, but white socks are really impractical. They don't get dirty any quicker than other socks, but it shows immediately. As soon as you put your foot on the floor, they start staining. So I need to use another color. And because she loves green, I'm probably going to do them in a dark green. And I'm going to use this for the leaves. And because this is 100% Corriedale, I can't do the leaves all the way through. I'm only going to put leaves on the legs. And then this should be enough for that pair of socks. I have a green in Merino Yak from Regia, but I think it's too light of a green color. So I'm going to test it out. I don't have any dark green sock yarn, I think. Maybe if I have a 50 gram ball from Sandnes, Sisu, because I have several colors that I use for heels, toes and cuffs, but I don't think I have any green. So I might have to buy some yarn for those socks. I would like to have some hand dyed though. So I'll see. Maybe I'll dye up a skein of green, because I have undyed yarn in stock still. So I might just dye up. That makes them totally made by me though, if I dye up a skein of a dark green. So maybe that's what I'm doing. The next time I'm dyeing up fiber, I'll dye up a skein of dark green. Let's see. I'm going to dye up some fiber, and I'm going to dye up a sweater quantity. I don't dare to start dyeing the targi yet that I got from Sue. I think a couple of 3 episodes ago I was showing you the targi that I got from Canada, from Custom Woolen Mills. It's really precious fiber, and I'm not sure I have the courage to start dyeing that yet. Because spinning is one thing, dyeing fiber is another thing. I have to be really careful not to felt it when I'm dyeing it. So I'll dye up some more fiber first, I think. So I bought some different sort of braids from Spinnvilt, and one of them is 500 grams of, what's it called, Teasdale or Teeswater? I put it at the end of the screen. Bottom of the screen, sorry. As I said, all over the place, and I have no notes. This is just... because the reason why I don't have any notes was that I was going to tell you about this and the striped sweater, and I remember both the designer for both of them and what yarn I'm using, so... and I'm never sure what I'm going to talk about beforehand, so... everything is going to be at the bottom of the screen and in the info below the video, so you can see links to everything. So that's the spinning. I have finished. I have started another spin, and it's more from Stolen Strick. Picture coming up now. It's a nice pastel Corriedale, and as usual I'm going to spin up the entire 100 grams in one single, and I'm going to dye up some fiber to ply it with. I'm doing that with everything, basically more or less everything I buy, to get more yardage out of a braid of fiber, because it's not cheap buying hand-dyed fiber, and I want to get the most out of it. And I have Corriedale, undyed Corriedale in my stash, but I've been thinking, because it's so pastel, maybe I should just ply it with undyed Corriedale. I'm waiting until I've finished spinning the single though before I decide, so I can look at it. And I've been thinking about a pale green as well, or a pale pink, but I might end up doing undyed Corriedale as the other strand in this. Is it called strands? Not sure, but I think I'm going to apply that with undyed Corriedale. So that's my spinning, and as usual I haven't done a lot of other crafty stuff. It's been sort of a busy week last week, because I've started working Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I get sort of only, I know it's only 4 hours, but because of my anxiety and everything, I'm exhausted when I get back home. So Wednesday sort of becomes the day in between my work days, becomes a day to relax and get my cool back before I go back on a Thursday. And then I have Friday to sort of get back to my usual routines again. But I have to get used to doing stuff on Wednesdays, because Wednesdays is sort of I have the house to myself all day Wednesday, and that means that's the perfect day for dyeing. So I have to start dyeing on Wednesdays, I think. I need to dye up some fiber. I have only one braid left of bought fiber that I bought, or no, this fiber isn't bought, it's a gift from Leslie, but that's the only fiber I have left that I can start spinning on. So I need to dye up some fiber so I have something to spin when I finished the projects I'm working on. I have ordered a braid though, because I did something stupid. I logged on to Ulvei's website, and she had dyed up some pink and purple fiber that's perfect for fractal spinning, and because I enjoyed fractal spinning so much, I of course had to buy that braid. I have been thinking of ways to dye up fiber for fractal spinning, and I've actually been thinking about I have about 125 grams left of the sock blend that I bought from Spinbuilt, and I've been thinking about actually splitting that up into 5 sections and then dyeing those 5 different colors. That way I can set up the color order I want of the colors before I start spinning, because I'm much more confident when it comes to joining new fiber now, and I think that might be an easier way to dye it as well, because when I tried to dye fiber for fractal spinning before, and I used the same technique as I used for my self-striping yarn, and it was sort of fiddly and it was messy. So if I dye up 5 sections in 5 different colors, I think it's going to be easier for me to do a fractal spin. So I think I'm going to split it into, do the same thing. I split every section into 2, and I split, and then I split one of the sections into 2 again, and spin that end to end, taking a picture of the order I put them in so I don't forget before I start the other one, because when you finished spinning you can't see more than maybe the 2 last colors. And then I'll split up the other half of the sections into 4, maybe 6, to get them shorter. I think I might split them into 6 and then spin those end to end as well. And because those, when you spin that, those sections in the single is going to be much shorter than the first one, because there's less fiber in each section. And then I apply those, and then I turn one of them back to front, if you know what I mean. So I start with the opposite color. If you check out fractal spinning on YouTube, you get lots of different ways of doing this. But I figured out this technique is the one that works best for me. Split it in half first, and then split one of them in 2, and then split the other one in 4, 6, 8. But anyways, so you have less fiber in each section, and then I'm just saying the entire thing for a second time. Not that it would help having notes for this, because I tend to babble anyway. And that's the thing, if I'm nervous or anxious, I talk even more. I think more people have the same. I think it's called being an extrovert introvert, because I talk more when I'm nervous or anxious, and I'm sort of chatty anyway, but I get extremely chatty if I'm nervous or anxious. And that's actually put me into some really unfortunate situations, because people think that people won't believe me when I say I struggle with anxiety, or depression because I'm so chatty. So it's sort of counterintuitive, but I think there are more people that have this tendency to. I'm not sure what it. Maybe I'm afraid of the awkward silence. Not sure. But if I suddenly get quiet and stop chatting, hubby sees that as a signal that he has to get me out of the situation, because then I've reached my limit. Sort of used up my. I think people are talking about spoons, and I've spent my spoons. So the rest of the day, I don't have a lot of plans besides cleaning the bathroom, as I said. I will try to get some spinning done. I have found the entire book series for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as audiobooks on YouTube. In case you didn't know, you can actually find audiobooks on YouTube. And I'm listening to that while I'm spinning. I'm listening to the last book in the series now, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's been a few years since I last read the books. I have the entire thing in one book. It's this thick, and it's called The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide. And the reason why I'm doing this is because Leslie recommended a new book that's been published. It's not written by Douglas Adams because he's passed away, but it's written by a different author. And as I understand it, he got the widow was involved. Douglas Adams' widow was involved in some way. So it's sort of, as it said, the 6th book of the trilogy. And it's the 5th book, and it's not a trilogy. So even that is Douglas Adams' humor. I haven't read a proper book in years. Once upon a time, I was able to read a book and knit at the same time. I just put something heavy on top of the book to hold it open. And this is a paperback, so I'm not afraid of ruining it or anything. So I'll just get into the habit of doing that. I have socks I can knit on. I have a sweater I can knit on while I'm reading. The everyday tea, as soon as I'm finished with this bit, I can read while I'm knitting the body. So really looking forward to reading that book. Leslie said that it was really good. And So Long and Thanks for All the Fish didn't have a proper conclusion, I guess, so why not get an epilogue? I'll let you know what I think of the book as soon as I start reading it, but again, I have to wait a bit for it. More life stuff. We haven't done a lot of exciting stuff. Me and hubby went to the neighboring town, Sortland, for a bit of shopping on Friday, and we went to the nearest thrift store to us on Saturday. We went because I'm looking for new dinner plates. I have a matching set of dinner plates that we use for when we invite people to dinner and Christmas and stuff like that, but day to day we use stuff we bought at the thrift store. So I have 4 matching plates, I think. Not sure. But basically we don't care. As long as we have clean plates, they don't have to look the same. But I need some new ones because some of the ones we have chips on them and things. So we need some new plates, and as long as we can get 4 that look the same, we buy them. My son came with us because he's into vintage clothing, but he didn't find anything interesting. You have to go to bigger cities to find really good stuff when it comes to clothing, I think, in second-hand shops. Of course, when they start calling it vintage, the price goes up. So it's he bought a really nice winter coat in London, in one of the vintage shops there, and it wasn't exactly cheap, but it was really, really cheap compared to what he would have to buy for a winter coat in Norway. And it's a long tweed winter coat. I've been talking for over half an hour, and my podcast seemed to get shorter and shorter. Or no, I'm about half an hour, mostly. I think that's mostly because my knitting mojo is so I'm not doing a lot of knitting. I'm doing more spinning than knitting. But I have to start knitting a bit more because I have make-alongs running. At the moment I have the fluff to stuff. I didn't mention that at the start. Maybe I should talk a bit about the fluff to stuff make-along. It's an all year make-along. I might do it next year as well. And the point is you spin your fiber and then you knit something with the yarn. It doesn't have to be something complicated. If you spin a little bit and use it as a contrast color in a sweater, for example, that's okay. If you don't spin but you have a friend that spins and you are gifted handspun, that can also be used. If you buy the handspun, that's not. I don't think that should be included, because the whole point is you make the yarn yourself. Because a lot of spinners, I'm one of them, tend to enjoy the spinning really, really much. What was I about to say? I can't speak today either. If you really enjoy the spinning bit, and you have a tendency to acquire a stash of a handspun that you don't use. So I want to get you to use your handspun. It doesn't have to be perfect. I started knitting with my handspun before I actually made consistent, before I started plying it even. I knit a shawl. If I remember it, I'm going to show you that shawl the next time, because it's really not perfect. It's uneven and it's only a single, and it's a worsted, I think. It was Leslie from Not Quite Enough Yarn. That's the Leslie I was talking about that gifted me the alpaca as well, by the way. We met her in Lewis when we went to Brighton. That was a tangent. She said once that whatever you do, start using your handspun from day one. Even if it's only a sample or something small, but use it before it's perfect. Start using it, because then you get into the habit. I have some handspun that I really don't think I can use for anything. That really doesn't look nice at all. So if I'm going to use that, I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for. Maybe a coaster or a mug cozy or something. And I'm really sad about me not being a particularly good spinner at the time, because the fiber was really pretty and I wish I had saved it until I was a better spinner. But it's kind of charming as well, I guess. And it's in the same plastic tub as my other handspun, so I can see every time I put some handspun in that tub or get some handspun out to use it, I see that at the bottom and I can give myself a pat on the back and say, look what you have, how much you've learned in such a short time. Because my handspun, I'm still improving, it's still not even. but somebody told me that that's the whole point when you knit with hand spun, that you can see that it's actually hand spun. Sooner or later it's going to be more even, and I can't see it perhaps because it's uneven, but you have the barber pole effect that you get if you apply two different colors on each other, and you can see that even in when you apply the same color. You can tell from my, if you see, I'll show you the ball again with the cinnamon toast. You can tell, even on this you can tell in some places you have this barber pole effect, even though it's the same color, because when you hand dye fiber you can't get it even. It's the same as hand dyeing solid yarn. That's why we're calling it a semi-solid, because it's not completely solid. This looks perfect in the skein, and this is a hand dyed. I think you loco, not sure if they actually hand dye their solids. Maybe it's a bit bigger of a thing because it's a branded yarn. It's really expensive though. So, but anyways, I'm going to. Oh my goodness! What's the word for it? Alternate. See, English is my second language. I'm going to alternate these just to make sure, because they're hand dyed, or maybe they are hand dyed, but they look really perfect. They look completely solid to my eye, at least. I can't see any color differences in the skein. So, but I'm going to alternate to make sure. The only yarn I don't alternate when I knit sweaters is commercially dyed yarn. That I don't alternate. But if it's a hand dyed or a hand dyed brand, I always alternate. I think that's it for this episode. I've done a lot of babbling this time. I've been extremely chatty, but as I mentioned earlier, I get more chatty when I'm anxious or nervous. Not sure why I'm nervous, but I think it might be because I have a dentist's appointment tomorrow that I'm not looking forward to. And it's early in the morning as well, so I have to run out of here before I have the chance to get my coffee. I get up tomorrow morning, I just have to brush my teeth, jump in the car and get over to the dentist. And of course, I'm working tomorrow, so I'm going straight from the dentist to work. Hopefully I should have half an hour to 45 minutes in between the dentist and me starting work. So I might have time for a cup of coffee before I start work. The reason why I can't have any coffee tomorrow morning is because I don't want to kill my dentist with a really pungent coffee breath. I brush my teeth. If I brush my teeth first, one thing is the coffee tastes horrible if you have just brushed your teeth, and it's a waste of time brushing your teeth really if you're going to drink coffee afterwards. So I'm bringing this tomorrow because when hubby gets up in the morning he makes 2 of these, one for me and one for himself, and I'm bringing mine along tomorrow so I can take it with me to work. If I have enough time I might actually go to a coffee shop or something and sit down for a minute with my morning coffee tomorrow. But that's the reason why I'm so chatty today, I think, because I'm anxious about tomorrow. And I'm not fond of the dentist, really not. As you know, I'm a true professional, and when I was finished recording the afterthought whip, I forgot to turn the camera back on to record the outro. So to avoid a too abrupt an ending to the podcast, I'm just coming back here to wish you a wonderful week, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye bye.